Okay, section 9, factor by grouping. So if you recall, we started section 9 with the two other videos dealing with a little bit of a review, and then GCF, and now this is factor by grouping. So this is possibly the easiest technique because it is very easy to identify when we have factor by group. So take a look at problem 25. I won't do it here. I won't redo this problem because it's already done here, and I just want to use it to explain the procedure. So factor by grouping is always going to show up as four terms, as you see here. You're going to do first divide the four terms into two groups of two. Usually it's going to be the first and second, first group, and then second group, third and fourth terms. Then you're going to find the GCF for each group, as you have over here. And then you see, look at the third line under the solution, that you have x minus 4 appearing twice. You will factor, take a look at the last line, you will factor the x minus 4. You will open a second pair of parentheses, and you're going to write the two terms that are outside of both parentheses in the second set of parentheses. And that's pretty much it. So when I do the problems dealing with factor by grouping now, I will do it in two lines, which is a little bit more condensed, and students prefer it that way. Okay, so let's take a look. There's another example here, 926, for you to follow. I won't do this to save you a little bit of extra time on the video. And I'm going to begin with these two, 27 and 28. So let's take a look. So step one, identify this as grouping. And again, like I said, whenever you have four terms, you should try grouping first. So first and second, third and fourth. Okay, so now for the first group, find the GCF. There could be a numerical, there could be a variable GCF. In this case, there's no numerical between 2 and 3, but there is a variable GCF between x cubed and x squared, which is x squared. So write x squared, open close parentheses. And now for the terms inside of the parentheses, you are going to do 3x cubed plus 2x squared, each divided by the GCF x squared, or 1x squared. Okay, so 3 divided by 1, 3. X cubed divided by x squared, properties of exponents, right? Quotient rule, x. Positive 2 divided by 1, x squared divided by x squared cancel. Okay, so that's the first factoring for the first group. In the second group, and this is always going to be the case. So here's the second group. I'm going to do it in red for you to see. There will be a sign in the middle, either positive or negative. In this case, it's positive. You're going to write that sign here. If it is positive, you write positive. If it's negative, you're going to write negative. Okay. Now find the GCF for 12x plus 8, which is 4. Open parentheses, right? 4 is the largest number that can go into 12 and 8. Open and close parentheses, same as before, 12x plus 8, each divided by the GCF, positive 4. 12 divided by 4, 3, x. Positive 8 divided by positive 4, positive 2. Okay, I am going to erase all of this. We don't need it anymore. This is only for support work. Sometimes you can do it visually. I guess when you get a little bit more experienced, you can do it visually. I did it on the side for you to see how to find the terms inside of the parentheses. And now look, this term is identical to that. You will factor that out. Open and close parentheses. The terms that will go into the second parentheses are the two terms that are above my squiggly lines. X squared plus 4. And that's it. You are basically done. Now, in this particular case, they said check. Now, normally on the exams and final for group, for any of the factoring techniques, we won't ask you to check, but I am going to do it once here for you to see how it's done. So the technique is you are going to FOIL. Okay, so 3x times x squared, 3x times 4, 2 times x squared, and 2 times 4. I'm going to write them over here. So there's going to be 4 multiplications. So 3x times x squared, 3x cubed. 3x times positive 4, positive 12x. Positive 2 times x squared, and positive 2 times positive 4. And notice that this is identical to that, with the exception that we have 3x squared plus 2x squared plus 12x plus 8. So it's out of order, but this is okay. It doesn't matter the order. The terms are identical. So this factoring is correct. Okay, I won't do any more checks to save you a little bit of time on the video, but you can do it as practice if you want. Okay, 928, same as before. I see 4 terms. I suspect it's factored by grouping, so I'm going to group the first 2 and the second 2. Same as before, for the first group, find the GCF, which is 2x. Open and close parentheses. 2x squared minus 4x, each divided by the GCF 2x. In the first division, the 2's cancel. X squared divided by x to the 1 is just x. Properties of exponents. Minus 4 divided by positive 2 is minus 2. And the 2x is canceled. Okay, so I'm done with the first GCF. And now here is the second term. And here's the sign in front of the second term. So remember what I said over here, whatever this sign is, positive or negative, it has to be right there. Okay? So now I need a common factor between 3x and 6, which is 3. Open, close, as before, minus 3x plus 6, each divided by negative 3, which is the GCF for the second group. So the minus 3's cancel. I'm left with x, positive 6 divided by negative 3 minus 2. I'm going to erase this. I don't need it anymore. You identify that these two are equal, so you're going to factor it out. And you're going to open a second set of parentheses immediately after. And what you are going to write there is the 2 terms outside of the 2 parentheses. And this is the final factored expression. Okay, so this is basically it. The textbook or the workbook did it in 4 steps. I'm doing it in 2, but it's basically the exact same thing. So these are very, very short, and it's very easy to identify because they will always come up or appear in groups of 4. Let's take a look at another one. This is an important problem. Same thing, 4 terms. I'm going to try grouping. So I am going to group the first 2 and the last 2. Find the GCF for the first group. There's no numerical common factor. There's just a variable common factor, y. So y, open, close parentheses, y squared minus ay, each divided by the GCF. Right, so y squared divided by y to the 1. Properties of exponents, 2 minus 1, just y. In the second case, there's an invisible 1. There's always an invisible 1. The y's cancel, and I have minus a divided by 1, just minus a. Second group. Again, I'm going to do it in red. The sign in front of the first term of the second group has to be right here. In this case, it's negative, so I'm going to put a negative. And now I need to find a GCF for the BYAB. There's no numerical common factor, but there is a variable, which is B. So I'm going to do minus b over here, open close parentheses, and then just as before, minus by plus ab, each divided by the GCF minus b. And the answer to that will be in the middle of the parentheses. So in the first division, the minus b cancel. I have a y. The b's will cancel here, and I have a positive a divided by a negative 1 again, which is negative a. And notice that, I'm going to erase this again. We don't need it. Notice that y minus a and y minus a are identical. So you're going to factor that out. You're going to open another parentheses. And what are we going to write in the middle here? Yes, absolutely right. Y minus b, the two terms outside. And that's it. Okay, again, very short. The only thing that you cannot forget is that the sign in the middle there must appear, positive or negative, it must appear before the GCF, the second term. Okay, so in all of these three examples, the grouping that we decided to use is first and second, third and fourth. Sometimes that may not happen, or that may not work out. Okay, so there's a note in the workbook. This, let me say, rarely happens. So if I see here 4 terms, I want to factor by grouping, normally we would do this. But if you take a look at the first group, there's absolutely nothing to factor. So 7x squared minus 4y, there's no numerical greatest common factor, there's no variable. So we can't do it that way, okay? So we have to do something else. So what do? We can rearrange so that I have a group with a common factor. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to put this there. So look what happens. So 7x squared plus 14x minus 4y minus 2xy. And now I am going to group the first two and the last two. The GCF for the first group is 7x. So if you found 7x, you did a good job. 7x squared, 14x, each divided by the GCF, which is 7x. The 7's cancel. X squared divided by 7x to the 1 is just x. 14 divided by 7, positive 2, and the 2x out. Okay, second group, minus goes right here. 4 and 2, common GCF between numerical between 4 and 2 is 2, and y. So open close parentheses again, minus 4y minus 2xy, each divided by minus 2y. So look what happens now. So I have the minus and minus divided by a minus a plus. 4 divided by 2 is 2. The 2y's cancel. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 out. Y divided by y out. And I have a positive x. Positive x because these two minuses cancel. So I have positive x. Okay, so let me erase what we don't need. Don't need this anymore. It's just for support work. So now you ask yourself, wait, Professor, is x plus 2 equals 2 plus x? Yes, it is. And if you don't like to see it that way, you can rewrite it this way. Right? 2 plus x is the same thing as x plus 2. And now they are a match. Factor it out. Open a second pair of parentheses, and in the second pair, you already know what to write. 7x minus 2y. And you could FOIL to check that this equals that. Okay, so let me say again that this is an unusual case It is possibly unlikely that you will see this. Normal case are the ones that we did before, where you are going to group the first and the second for the first group, and third and fourth terms for the second group. So these are the steps to factor by grouping.